Hi, my name is Sheridan. I am a yoga teacher and coach, and I'm here telling you my alopecia story today. In parts 1 and 2, I've covered what I felt kind of from I was 7 years old when I lost my hair, so I covered kind of what that felt like to be a child and an adolescent with alopecia. Then I covered a little bit into the first couple of years of adulthood and the way that I struggled with my identity and feeling sad and anxiety and depression, etc. But something that was missing in those was the way that I've created confidence and self-esteem and self-image. So I'm telling you in this video how I've gotten to be the kind of the confident person that I am today, having this strong sense of self, and surprise, surprise, the key has been yoga. I was always really interested in yoga, especially because of like the mental health benefits. As I said, I was struggling with my mental health, so I practiced for years at home, just like carefully following videos, trying to do a little bit here and there, not trying to do anything too advanced, and just like studying YouTube videos for years. And I noticed that a lot of the things that I was feeling during my adolescence kind of came back while I was practicing yoga, and I went through a lot of different phases. All of these fears came back in, and it was around this time that I actually lost all of the hair on my head. So up until then I had it really changed, but I'd say like 20 to 30% of my hair. I think that I didn't really have much hair on my leg or on my arms, or really even in my armpits, but I just kind of ignored it. Like, I totally ignored touching, looking, being aware of it, because I think that I wanted to just not confront the fact that I was losing hair in other parts of my body, and it made me feel really, really uncomfortable. So I did that for a couple of years, and it got to a point where I felt like I really needed some more guidance. And oh my God, the time that I would have saved if I had just looked for a teacher in the beginning. But it did get to a point where I was like, okay, I need a little bit more support. I want to be able to go to a yoga class. Like, I want to be able to have guidance and get adjustments and learn more about how to actually do this, because I knew there's only so far you can go without a teacher. There were parts of me at that time where I was also thinking like, I don't want to have kids, because if I have kids and then I get pregnant and then my hormones go crazy and then I lose my eyebrows and I lose my eyelashes, and like, I couldn't even do life if I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes. And if we jump to 2020, like, okay, well, lost my eyebrows, lost my eyelashes, the world didn't end. But yeah, so I found myself limiting what I was doing because of my alopecia. I limited all of my dreams because of my alopecia. I limited my physical, mental health because of my alopecia. And I would get in my head and have all of these thoughts about why I couldn't go to yoga class or why I couldn't do X. I started thinking, what if my wig falls off? Or what if they think I'm sick? What if they don't let me practice? What if I'm in the middle of downward dog and my hair just slips off? What if it gets too hot? What if I cry because I'm anxious? What if I get totally paralyzed? What if they all laugh at me? Or even worse, they all stop and tell me how beautiful I am, even though I don't have hair? What if it all goes really, really wrong? You know what? I don't deserve it, and I don't need it. So with all of these thoughts swimming inside of my head, I didn't go to a yoga class, but I did start looking for more challenging videos, and I challenged myself to do like low lunges. Oh my God, I hated them. Wheel pose, bridge pose, shoulder stand. I started practicing my headstand, and I started challenging myself to do these quicker flows, slower flows where I had to be more time with my thoughts. And the one thing that every single class had in common every single experience had in common is that I would know that a challenge was coming and I would feel anxious about it. And then I would breathe and I would practice all of these grounding tools. And then the challenging pose would come and I would breathe and it would be okay. And I would actually do it with more confidence than I thought. So I kept doing this and I began to find this sense of stability in no matter what was going on in my life, or the amount of hair that I had on at this point I was looking at my legs and my head and my armpits, and no matter what was going on, every single day I would at some point connect to my yoga mat. And it would just be me and my breath, and I get emotional thinking about it. It would just be me and my breath, us there, filling me up and keeping me full of resistance and resilience to keep going even in this crazy uncertainty. And I found stability in my downward dog. I found stability in the fact that I didn't have hair on my head. I found stability in my eyelashes and these beautiful eyebrows that I never had to fill in. And it all felt really, really good. But in order for it to feel really, really good, I had to embrace and breathe into and use the yoga practice to help me sustain and experience the more uncomfortable parts. Yoga taught me to hold space for those uncomfortable emotions and sensations. It taught me that even though by nature I am the avoidance type, I can easily just put the emotion away, put on keeping up with the Kardashians, get ice cream and just zombie my way through it. It taught me that it's actually safe to feel a little bit and breathe into it and use your mind and your body and your breath to deal with this emotion so that it doesn't keep impacting your life. You know, emotions that I couldn't talk through, emotions that had no words connected to them were still impacting my life greatly. And so coming back to the yoga and just experiencing it, moving through it, really helped me be okay and accept what was going on, both in my physical body, both in my emotional body, and in the surroundings around me. And yeah, I still kept my wig and my alopecia a secret from most of the people in my life, and I wasn't even really trying to change that until I just didn't want to keep a secret anymore. So I started telling people, just for casual conversations, just kind of mentioning it. Sometimes it went really well. Sometimes it went really well. And sometimes it didn't. Sometimes they would say things that made me feel uncomfortable. Kind of my most hated one was like, oh, but you're so pretty. You shouldn't wear your wig. And you're so pretty even without it. Or can I see? Or just so many are like, babe, are you sick? And you know, that hasn't happened to me in a long time, but it was happening then. There was definitely a part of me around that time that felt a little bit contradictory and hypocritical, because I felt like, kind of thinking from the outside perspective, not even from my own perspective, but maybe there was just this like, well, if I'm really so proud of wearing a wig and alopecia, then why do I wear a wig? Shouldn't I be bald all the time? Like, isn't that what this process and this journey is supposed to be? Like, what should I be doing? Lots of shoulds. But then it was around this time that I actually started approaching the yoga practice a little bit differently. And when I was following a video and the yoga teacher would say that I should put my foot somewhere, I found myself actually taking a different pose and just feeling confident enough to embrace what my body and my inner guidance wanted at that time, which meant that my yoga practice really changed, and I was practicing more to be on the mat and to flow and just connect with myself rather than like having long hamstrings or having flexible hamstrings. And so it really, really changed. Then I finally met my yoga teacher trainer, Fred Bush, and he was the first teacher to be able to address my knees. So I ran half marathons when I was younger, and I had knee injuries, and my knees were what some people might say are problematic in a lot of yoga poses. And I felt myself, really striving to get into lotus pose. I wanted that. And I thought, oh, I'll just open my hips more and I'll get there. I really still wanted to be in these advanced poses. And he showed me modifications that supported my knees. And he was able to spark this sense inside of me that was like, hey, it's actually okay that your bone structure is different to other people's. And it felt so obvious and so clear. It felt like such an exhale, a release, an acceptation of what is, without trying to change it, without trying to force being somewhere. And that very quickly translated into my experience with my hair. If I could have that type of experience in yoga, then why can't I bring that out to the rest of my life? So it was around this time that I also had a conversation with a good friend, and we spoke about this concept of making decisions based on why you're making decisions. Like why you want to make a certain decision. Crazy. We spoke, and she said to me, if you choose to do something for you, awesome, do it. If you choose not to do something for you, great, don't do it. If you are choosing to do something based on somebody else, or not to do something based on somebody else's ideas or perception or thoughts, or just in case, then don't. Make the decisions based on what feels good for you. And everything was really, really calm and chill until it was so obvious that I was now without a lot of my eyebrows and my eyelashes were falling out, that I remembered that roller coaster of emotions of the treatment. But this time I was able to apply the sense of like tension of the opposites that you experience in yoga, and the non-striving, the non-attachment that you experience in yoga to the treatment. And yeah, it's been difficult, definitely. But I feel like I'm coming at it from a different angle. I've lost my eyelashes very quickly, which is something, my hair loss before that has been very gradual. This time it has been very quick. And being in treatment is a funny thing. You are playing that tightrope of wanting it to get better and also accepting. And wanting to be somewhere and also being in the moment. And you're also faced with the decisions. How do I manage this? What do I do? How do I spend my money? Should I do this? Should I be doing that? And just like I figured out during yoga, and all the things that I was able to practice and do, regularly practice, it is this awareness of just that, and accepting that that is it, and accepting that you are here. Letting go, being aware and letting go of what you don't want to take with you, finding that inner strength, finding that courage, and finding those tools to ground you into the moment and get past that the challenge, whether that is wheel pose, or whether that's going to the doctor, or whether it's going out for dinner in a new piece of hair or not using it. And I've come to understand that just like in the yoga practice, everyone can give me ideas and guidance, but only my own inner authority and intuition can guide where my journey goes, because at the end of the day, I know what is best for me. And sometimes not having control is actually what you needed the entire time. Not knowing is the exact lesson that you are meant here to learn. And that's the whole purpose. So this is a yoga vlog. This is a yoga channel. This is a yoga account. And everything that I experience will always be seen through this lens of yoga. Or things that I've learned on the yoga mat, and then I've applied them in my life. And even if yoga isn't your choice of activity, it's not your lifestyle, I think there are a lot of things that you can probably resonate with. And I just want to say that yoga has this perception of being based on the poses that you make and the forms and the silhouettes that you can create with your body. And I get that, we live in Instagrammable 2020. But yoga is a lot different to what it is presented. Yoga is these practices, it is this way of life, it is this mental state, and it is this walk in between all of these principles, metaphors, guidances. And so in my opinion, there are many people who are living with hair loss, alopecia, autoimmune diseases, like hormone, thyroid, like so many different conditions, who are every single day practicing more yoga than many people do when they walk into that 60-minute class on a Tuesday. So choose whatever supports you. And if you have resonated with anything that I've said, or you are on your own journey and you would like a little bit of extra support because you deserve it, go down to the link below, click, it's a free resource that I've made just for you, and it'll be in your inbox in a couple of minutes.